My name is Jill Marker, and you can find me in the Office of Admissions. I chose this book, And to Think We Thought We'd Never Be Friends, by MaryAnn Hoberman, because in these times of social unrest and feelings of injustice, I hope that this book would inspire us all to know that we are the same people, no matter where we're from. So, sit back and enjoy, and to think we thought we'd never be friends. One day, we were playing outside in our yard when my brother got mad and he pushed me so hard that I pushed him right back with all of my might, and quick as a wink, we were having a fight. We thwacked and we whacked and we walloped away, and we still might be fighting till this very day, pinching and punching my brother and I, if only our sister had not happened by. She was sipping some soda pop out of a cup, and she said that she'd share it if we would make up. And since we were thirsty and tired and sore, we each took a drink, and we ended our war. It's funny how quickly an argument ends, and to think we thought we'd never be friends. That night after supper, we turned on TV. We couldn't agree on what show we should see. I wanted one, my sister another, and both of us hated the choice of our brother. And we probably would all be arguing yet if our dad hadn't come in and turned off the set. So we put on pajamas, curled up in his bed, and he read us a wonderful story instead. It's funny how quickly an argument ends, and to think we thought we'd never be friends. A day or two later, it wasn't much more. A big new family moved in right next door. How much were in it, we couldn't quite tell, but they each played an instrument, not very well. One played a tuba, one a bassoon. They all practiced all morning and all afternoon. They practiced all evening and all through the night, and they kept us from sleeping. And that wasn't right. So we got out of bed with a hippity hop, and we marched off together and begged them to stop. But when we arrived there, they asked us to play, and they did it so nicely. What could we say? I took a whistle, my sister a flute, my brother a trumpet, and gave a loud toot. My dad took a bugle, my mother a drum, and we all totally forgot why we had come. It's funny how quickly an argument ends, and to think we thought we'd never be friends. All of a sudden, we heard a loud blare as a siren came wailing out of thin air. A police car pulled over, out jumped the police, and they told us that we were disturbing the peace. And they said if we didn't stop playing that minute, they'd take us to jail and put all of us in it. My brother got red, my sister grew pale, and trembled, and everyone trembled at going to jail. But my mother explained that the noise we had made was because we were practicing for a parade. She said that the siren had sounded so grand that she hoped that they would ride at the head of our band. It's funny how quickly an argument ends. Now all of the police had turned into our friends. We marched down the street, and each person we passed loudly complained at our ear-splitting blast. They begged us to deaden our deafening din until we invited them all to join in. We offered them boxes and kettles and spoons, and once they were playing, they all changed their tunes. They were all so pleased by the music we made that they became part of our splendid parade. More and more people stepped right into place. More and more kept up with our pace, strutting and striding and stamping their feet, marching in time to the drum's steady beat. Friends who had squabbled and even stopped talking settled their difference once they were walking, smiled at each other, marching hand in hand, keeping the beat of our wonderful band. And then we could hardly believe what we saw. Dog and cat enemies marched paw in paw, and when our procession arrived at the zoo, lions and tigers joined in with us too. It's funny how quickly unfriendliness ends, and to think we thought we could never be friends. Our, our music was magic, a magnet to all. As a Pied Piper, they came at its call. And as we were marching and tooting and drumming, the people kept coming and coming and coming. Hundreds and thousands came running to find us. Thousands and millions fell at right behind us. What a cacophony, what a commotion. Then all of a sudden, we got to the ocean. We came to a place where the whole country ends, with hundreds and thousands and millions of friends. Oh, what would we do now? We started to fret. We couldn't keep marching without getting wet. Then just as we all begun turning around, we heard the most odd and unusual sound. It wasn't a moan, it wasn't a cry, it wasn't a groan, and it wasn't a sigh. It was more like a hum-humming high up the scale, a whisper, a whistle, a whimper, a wail. A whale? No, a whale. Yes, 100 or more, and all of them swimming straight onto the shore, swinging their whale songs, grinning with glee. We jumped on their backs and sailed straight out to sea. Sharks swam around us while baring their teeth. Stingrays kept rising straight from underneath. But somehow the sounds and musics we played convinced them to join in the ocean parade. For music is magic, it soothes and it mends, and to think we thought we'd never be friends. We crossed the wide ocean and washed upon land, where people kept hearing the sound of our band, and even the ones who first came to protest soon were parading along with the rest. And it's hard to believe, but I swear it's true. By the time we were finished and finally through, and we'd all gotten back to the place we first played, the whole world was marching in one big parade. And before we disbanded and each went our way, we voted to march every year on that day. The march side by side with the friends we had made and the friends we made up with in one big parade. And from that day to this, it is just what we do, with the police siren blaring and horns tooting too. With our pals and our pans, with our pots and our pans, and our trumpets and drums, and everyone comes. And this is our cheer every year when it ends. Forever and ever, we'll always be friends.